Alright, what's up y'all, it's LakerFan here. As y'all can see by the title of today's video, we got Season 2 of ranking finishing badges and tiers in NBA 2K22 Next Gen. So hope y'all enjoy. If you do, feel free to drop a like, sub if you're new, turn on the noties, all that good stuff. And like always, try to win 1,000 likes. So to update you guys on this, if you're new to the series, new to the channel, or you just didn't watch the last video that we did with the defensive badges in Season 2, what I'm doing is, because 2K is going to have new seasons every 40 days or so, and with game updates and patches, or just difference in my opinion as I've learned more about the game and about those updates and patches, I'm going to be updating these tier lists. And what you have right here on the left is my former ranking of all the badges. So for instance, Putback and Dreamshake were in the F tier, Teardrop was in the E tier. We're going to re-rank all of these. So for instance, if I think Dreamshake is S tier, I am now going to move this pink Dreamshake that was formerly in F tier and move it to S tier. That's not going to happen. I'm just going to let you guys know that right now. But long story short, that's how it's going to work. So I hope y'all enjoy the video. If you do, feel free to drop a like, sub if you're new, turn on the noties, all that good stuff. And without further ado, we're going to get straight into this. So we got Dreamshake coming back into the F tier. Honestly, not much to be said about this other than the fact that I don't believe it's good for anything, to be completely honest with you guys. I feel like the only thing you're ever going to stun anybody on is a post fade, and at that, it's just going to be for an up and under, and honestly, I just think it's a useless badge, to be completely real with you. Next, we got Putback Boss. This is going to be going up to the C tier from the F tier. My original ranking is based on the fact that I formerly did not feel like there was any point in you going up with a contested take off an offensive rebound. I just felt like if you're wide open, go back up with it. It's going to be easy. If not, there's no point in you doing so. But I didn't understand how great contested finishing is down low. And honestly, there cannot be enough said about it in terms of all the things that factor into that, like mouse in the house, grace under pressure, all types of stuff, fast twitch. The list goes on and on for contested interior finishing with just literally holding X. So Putback Boss does see an increase in that, and my perception on this is the only reason that this sees a huge increase. It's not based on updates or patches or anything like that. It's just the fact that I understand now that contested finishing on the interior is a whole lot better, and there's actual reason for going up with that stuff, rather than formerly I just felt like there was no point in you going up with any BS like that when you're just gonna miss it every time anyway. But that was because of my perception as an undersized big who has no close shot, and now I see, after me making a couple taller bigs and also just seeing other taller bigs as well, just completely abuse the interior finishing. Next, we got Teardrop moving from E to D tier. I'm not gonna lie, obviously the badge is still okay at what you want it to do and stuff like that, and I understand the people out there who do have floaters in their repertoire and in their game, but I'm gonna be real with you guys. If you're a guard, you're already past the defender, most likely. They had to respect your three-pointer way too much, and then you got past him easy like that. If you're a slasher or a big, you're probably, if you're a big, your driving layup's probably not good enough to even have Teardrop or like be doing much for you. And then if you're a slasher, you're going for contact dunks. There's no point in you going for a floater if someone's sitting right below the basket on you. If you got past them, why are you taking a floater? There's someone right behind you. You just dunk the ball quickly with quick drops or something like that. To me, I feel like Teardropper doesn't see much utility in terms of actual gameplay value to anybody, really. But if it did, it would be to smaller guards. But most smaller guards out there don't even have the driving layup up that much. Or if you do, again, people might likely had to respect your three-pointer too much. Then you got past them, and then you don't have a contested finish at that point. You're just with a defender behind you. And if someone's helping off the corner, dot the corner and stop ball hogging. Simple as that, really. So again, I feel like Teardropper doesn't really see a lot of value or utility in any gameplay style. Alright, so making the move from D tier to B tier, we have Fearless Finisher. Now, I'm not going to overstate this badge or anything like that. I'm not going to sell you on it because it's moving up 2 tiers. It's still in the B tier for a reason. It's not a goated badge or anything like that, but it's still good. Now, what I want to explain with this is it actually works on standing layups as well, or even off a drop step, and boom, you like are going up with it. And anything to do with on the interior finishing, Fearless Finisher is going to pop up. I didn't understand that at first because it's tied to driving layup only, not close shot by any means. So I was thinking that it's only for driving layups. And on top of that too, it doesn't mention anything about helping you with dunking. But I can promise you, this badge 100% does help you dunk the ball in traffic and in situations where maybe you're coming off a pick and roll and the corner drops and then he's trying to contest you. And I'm just going to be completely honest, this badge is good for pick and rollers, good for slashers. It also helps you absorb the contact and lower the amount of stamina that you would lose in terms of every finish, and helps you finish through lower fatigue as well. So it's a really good badge, but again, it's not super high toward the top. It's not going to have the value or hold the value of anything that maybe the A tier or S tier badges would have, but definitely still a good badge that you can equip if you have a decent amount of finishing badges on your build. For our 5th badge on the list, we have Giant Slayer moving down from D tier to E tier. I'm going to be completely honest, the more that the game has kind of shown its meta in terms of what builds are going to be what, there's really very rarely going to be an undersized slasher in this game, and even at that, you have to be pretty small to have Giant Slayer. I believe it's under 6'4", because I know my 6'6" doesn't get it, but either way, honestly, it's pretty rare that you see any of these guards out here with driving dunk in the first place, and then if you do, you don't have enough finishing badges for this to be worthy of you running. And like I said, there's a lot of 5'9", 5'8", 5'7" that don't even have finishing on their build, so realistically, the only thing this is going to relate to is 6'4" and unders that actually have driving dunk up, and that's pretty rare in this game. And even in that situation, you're fast enough to get three-pointers off on your own, or to the point where the defense has to respect your three-pointer, and at that point, just put quick drops on. I mean, you're going to be able to literally dunk the ball when people have to respect your three, and then you just get past them, dunk the ball quickly. And I understand, there's somebody out there who actually is everything that I'm explaining here. They're a 6'2", 6'3" guard that has really good driving dunk rating, and they actually want to see that boost in terms of the Giant Slayer and helping them finish on taller bigs. But honestly, good luck. I mean, these 7'3s and stuff like that, or even like 6'10 and taller, even 6'8s and taller, are gonna defend the mess out of you in the paint when you're that small. And honestly, if your driving dunk rating isn't like 92 plus, I don't think you're gonna have a good time finishing anyway, no matter what your contested finishing ability is. Like, if you have 84 driving dunk and silver posterizer, good luck on getting anything that's doable for that dunk meter when you're going for a dunk in traffic or a contact dunk. I don't think it's worth it, and realistically, again, it's just not a good enough badge, and it doesn't relate to enough people for me to have this high on the tier list. Staying in the C tier, we have Unstrippable. I did think to put this badge a little bit lower because not a lot of people are making true slashers out there, and I feel like the only person this relates to is a true slasher who doesn't have any three-pointer, and people are just going to sag off of you and sit in the paint. And then with that, they're already in good position to go for a steal with ball stripper and all types of stuff like that, and you have to be able to resist that ability to go for the steals. And again, I don't think this really needs to be ran on anybody who has a three-pointer on their build because, again, I can't stress enough, people are going to have to respect your three. They're going to have to play you high, and you get past them. They're going to have to be in good position to go for that steal in the first place. They can't do it from behind. Chase down artists is what they're going to need to be able to stop you, not Unstrippable or ball stripper or whatever the case may be. But either way, long story short, if you can shoot the ball, you don't need Unstrippable. What this is good for, though, is the true slashers or post scorers out there who are trying to dominate smaller guards. So, for instance, those 5'9s who are upgrading their steal, but they have no interior defense, no block, no height, no vertical, or anything like that. So they strictly rely on being able to steal the ball as their means of interior defense. So it's understandable if you're someone who wants to run this and be able to actually baby those 5'9s, because I will tell you, if you don't have it, they're definitely going to go for it. And some of them are going to be running ball stripper and stuff too. So this is definitely your way of resisting that. And same goes for the post scorers out there who are trying to dominate smaller people. If they have steal rating but they don't have block, they're going to be going for those steals, and Unstrippable is definitely going to help with that. So it fits a very strict play style in terms of what this can be good for, but albeit it's still very good at doing that and resisting people from stealing the ball from you. So Unstrippable is going to be in the C tier, but if you're someone who really wants to value this badge, you can still put it in the B tier, and it's reasonable to run for sure if it fits your play style. Alright, so finding its way up from the C tier to the B tier, we have Acrobat. I was low-key even thinking about putting this in A tier, but that's speaking strictly from my point of view, where I'm a true slasher. I understand that not everybody's going to play my style, so I'm going to be just kind of hedging that a little bit and just putting in the B tier, because for everybody else it's probably not as relevant. But to explain why I like Acrobat and what it's actually good for and what I love about it is that it's going to help you create separation on the spin layups and stuff like that, the spin dunks, as a lot of you guys saw in the mixtape, and you're wondering how I'm doing that so well. I do have the silver Acrobat. I wish I had it higher, to be completely honest with you. And it's also going to help for hop steps. It does help for Euros and stuff like that. Obviously, if you're doing reverse layups too, it's going to help you make those. But those are obviously not as relevant in most people's style anyway. I would just say this. If you're a pure slasher out there, like you're a true slasher, this is a fire badge. I would, like I said, for me, it's an A tier badge, maybe even an S tier, to be completely honest with you, because when a lot of people guard me properly and take away the contact dunk, what's usually there is the spin dunk, or again, a hop step that I'm trying to work on, maybe like mastering my craft on that too. But either way, I think Acrobat is very good for that, and again, it does help you make layups as well. But I think what ties into making this badge even better is the fact that it has that double ability where it's going to help you create separation on the spin layups and the hop steps and all types of stuff like that fits real slashers, or if you're just a finesse player out there who has your good driving layup rating. I'm not going to lie, if you're open, semi-open, or somebody's behind you and you try and Euro, I don't know why you'd ever do that when somebody's behind you, but honestly, if you create the opportunity for someone to block your stuff because you're going for a layup instead of a dunk, you're probably tripping. So I like this in terms of being able to help me get those gathers and actually like create separation on them. So that's how I feel about it. I don't really feel like the value of this is really in the layup ability, but it's still something to be said about it. So moving down from C tier to D tier, we have post spin technician. I feel like there's 2 or 3 way better ways that you can get position in the post than doing post spins. I feel like all this does is leave you vulnerable to getting the ball stolen from you or a bump steal in the post or anything like that. You could just be pivoting your ball hand, flicking up on your stick, switching from left hand to right hand. It gives you a lot of it makes you finesse your way down into the post a lot better, where it kind of disengages the post defender a little bit, so he's not just completely brick walling you pretty much, where he's stonewalling you in terms of you trying to back him down, as well as the fact that if you have backdown Punisher too, I think it's a really good badge. Long story short, there's not a lot of utility with this badge. I'm sure a lot of the post scorers out there can relate to this too, in terms of there's really no reason to do this, if you ask me. I feel like if I've ever seen a post scorer in this game, or even if I've been trying to do it myself on my new build, there's no point in doing a post spin at all, and it's just way too many badge points to be spending on something that has such little utility to me. So that's how I feel about it. If you have a disagreement in the comments, feel free to leave it, and on any of these badges, mind you, as well. I want to hear you guys' feedback on this, obviously, but to me personally, post spin technician, pretty garbage, to be completely honest with you. But it's still got utility to it. It's still good at what it does, obviously, but it's a little bit more prone to turnovers, and I feel like it's not as efficient in terms of getting your way down in there, and it's just a waste of badges, if you ask me. Speaking of which, we have backdown Punisher coming in as the 3rd badge in the B tier. It's pretty self-explanatory, like I was already talking about what this badge is good for. If you're someone who likes to do drop steps, post hooks, or just the paint mash where you're sitting underneath the hoop and pump faking 3 times, waiting for the defender to go up for the jump, backdown Punisher is going to be a good setup for anything to do so with that. And also, one thing I really want to talk about with backdown Punisher is that this supports the 7-3s out there who went with the minimum weight really, really well. Now, don't get me wrong, you're not going to be able to back down people that have good strength and they have the 95 interior defense with the Hall of Fame brick wall and stuff like that. That's not going to be your means of getting position on them. And honestly, if you're somebody who wants to be powering people every single time that you touch the ball in the post, you probably want a little bit of a higher strength as well. But backdown Punisher can get the job done for you if you're someone who's just trying to mismatch somebody, or for instance, if you're someone who's coming in at the 2s and you have the ability to shoot the 3 and just be good spacing for your guard, and then at the same time you want to be able to back down smaller opponents, like if someone brings in a 6'8 or a 6'7 at the big man spot, or even like a 6'10, backdown Punisher will get the job done for that, and you can intentionally back people down from the post. Whereas some people, when they do the paint mashing stuff in this game, whether it's the hooks or the drop steps or the standing layups and stuff like that, you're probably just going to get it off a rebound, or you just have really good position already off the pass. It kind of is what it is. But anyway, long story short, backdown Punisher supports those 7-3s out there with the minimum weight a lot, really, really well. You probably only have 60 strength, and this is your means of actually getting those good backdowns. Our next 2 badges are both going to be in the C's here, so I'm just going to reveal them at the same time. We got Rise Up and Dropstepper. Now, for Drop Steps, I feel like this badge's utility is a little bit decreased in the sense of, once again, I feel like post hooking and just the paint mashing of just sitting underneath the hoop and keep on pump faking until the defender actually jumps is definitely the means of the best way of finishing on the interior. Now, Dropstepper will still support that in a sense. You can still hit someone with a drop step, then still do the pump fakes and stuff like that. So it's kind of just an extra move to be doing. It might get you some separation to be able to just go up with it right away, but people are going to jump, and that might support it even better as well, where if you go for that drop step, they might feel enticed to actually jump, and then boom, just like that, you can now use your fast twitch and mouse in the house and all types of stuff like that to help you finish on the interior. I'm not gonna lie, people are sleeping on post scores this year, man. It's pretty good. Now, you can make the case this still belongs in the B tier. I feel like it doesn't really match the ability of these other badges, but honestly, maybe that's me just being biased in the sense of being a slasher rather than a post scorer. That's likely what it is, but either way, I have Dropstepper in the C tier. You could make the case, though, that it does belong in the B tier. I will say it's probably one of the best C tier badges here. It definitely is, actually. And then, as we mentioned, we have Rise Up as well in the C tier. I feel like this is a pretty good spot for it. It probably won't leave here too often, and realistically, it's already easy to just get dunks off and stuff like that. What I think this supports pretty well, though, is people who are actually trying to go for standing contact dunks. Now, I don't ever think that's really a good idea, but in this game where contested finishing is kind of a thing, it's understandable. I feel like Rise Up really is only going to support people who are going for those contested finishes, though, because if you're going off a drop step, you're dunking the ball pretty much every time. If you're going for the paint mash and stuff like that, you don't even need a standing dunk. Honestly, a layup is almost better at that point. And also, for the pick and roll situations, if you're trying to get the standing dunks off a pick and roll, Rise Up on like bronze has already been good enough for me with literally like 65 standing dunks. So I don't even think that you really need Rise Up too much to be able to do wide open standing dunks. I feel like you just get them every single time no matter what anyway, and realistically, it's not that great of a badge, but again, it does support the people who are trying to go for the big man, like standing contact dunks and stuff like that, so it's at least a decent badge in that regard. Next up, we got Grace Under Pressure, moving from the B tier to the A tier. I'm not going to keep on spinning this exact same take on you guys where, again, it's just always related to this finishing underneath, the standing layups, the pump fakes, the just waiting for the person to jump, pogo stick not being good enough to combat fast twitch and all types of stuff like that. And realistically, this is what this badge is good for. It just negates like contest you would get on it, or more so I should say, it helps you finish on higher contest percentages when you're on the interior. I've seen like literally 40s and stuff like that, or even 50s go in with this badge on, and it's really good. I think Mouse in the House is more of your, Mouse in the House is like the contest dropper, and Grace Under Pressure is the contest maker, where this is going to help you make higher contest percentages, whereas Mouse in the House makes it lower percentages to pop up. So long story short, all these badges together are really good. They're super overpowered. I understand if you're a guard, this doesn't fit your playstyle at all, but it doesn't change the fact that, you know, this is literally one of the best badges in the game in terms of it supports one of the super unstoppable things in the game. Now, there is a case to be made, and I want everybody to take this and like really think about it too, where this playstyle fits Pro-Am and 2v2 really well, but 3v3, it's not very good. I mean, yes, you're still going to be able to get that exact same finish rate. It's not like the sliders on it are worse on 3v3. It's just that it's not an efficient shot on threes. On threes, you really want 3-pointers. You want to be able to just do everything super efficiently, whereas on twos, you can just make it take it. You can just take all types of 2-point shots. Same with Pro-Am. If you get those like 2-point shots and it's like a decent look, that's what you'll take. You take what the defense gives you, and at that point, if you have a small matchup on you and you are a tall big, you'll take that any day. But for 3v3, all this like interior finishing stuff doesn't see a lot of utility, so just keep that in mind. I will say, for the sake of like, you know, the contested paint mashing, it's not the best thing to do on threes. Staying in the B tier, we have Lob City Finisher. This is going to be a really good thing to help you get a bigger meter size on your actual like alley-oop attempts, and I think a lot of people are struggling because they don't have this badge on, or you just haven't gave it the time of day to actually learn how to do the timing. As long as you release it at like 9 o'clock, if you're talking like an actual like clock on the circle, so for instance the leftmost part of your meter, you're gonna have an easy time finishing lobs. I can't really say that I miss lobs very often at all anymore, or even at that, like I can still finish pretty contested lobs too. And honestly, I do credit Lob City Finisher for this. I like to run this badge on at least silver or at least gold, and I rarely use it on Hall of Fame, to be honest with you, because it's super expensive, but you do see some really good stuff with that when you have it on Hall of Fame, and the meter size does go up consistently for every level of it you use. And again, it's a really good glue badge for the pick and rollers out there that like to give their guard a new means of pretty much getting them the ball instead of just tapping A, and those lanes could be lurked if you just tap the A passes. The lobs are pretty necessary for throwing it over the defender's head when they're in the passing lanes. Our next two badges are going to be Pro Touch and Hook Specialist. I'm revealing them at the same time because they're pretty much the same badge in a sense, where I'm not recommending Pro Touch for slashing because I feel like the best way to be doing slashing is just to not even have to time your layups anyway, and I feel like it's kind of garbage. Now, what I will say, I haven't tested this to be able to see if it actually helps your dunk meter size. I'm not gonna lie, I might have to try that because that is like a pretty interesting thing, but realistically, this is only gonna work on driving layups and hook shots and stuff like that. This is only for layups, and I would bet like 95% that it's not going to help your dunk meter size, but I guess that's something I probably should have tested before doing this video, in all fairness. But anyway, what I value this badge for is the post hooks and stuff like that, where, long story short, you put that in the slightly late and slightly early range, you're rarely missing your shots. And same goes for the Hook Specialist too. If you have good close shot rating, like at least 90 plus with Gold Hook Specialist, and you do need 99 to be able to get Hall of Fame Hook Specialist on that close shot rating, but if you do have that, I'm not gonna lie, it is really, really gross, like how well you can finish this stuff. And I've seen like 50s go in from my boy Tonic, who has it on gold with 90 rating, and man, it really does go crazy. I gotta say, Hook Specialist deserves a lot of respect. Same with Pro Touch, same with all the interior finishing stuff right there. I'm not gonna lie, I have no clue why post scores aren't more relevant on 2v2 than they are right now. I see so much double ISO in this game, and I'm gonna be real with you, I feel like people are really sleeping on post scores, especially because of the super undersized bigs that people bring in for twos as well. Like, most people will have 2 6'7s or a 6'8 at that 2 spot because they're trying to run double ISO, and I gotta say, man, them bigs could be eating right now. And on that exact note, we have another thing that relates to the bigs eating. Again, Mouse in the House, fast twitch. Fast twitch is gross. How many times you can just keep on pump faking, waiting for the big to jump. Pogo stick, once again, is not good enough to be able to combat this badge, and then fast twitch just goes stupid. Like, you will just dunk the ball very quickly, you'll lay the ball up very quickly. Mouse in the House, again, what this is going to be actually basically relating to, at least this is how, I'm pretty positive this is how Mouse in the House works, is if you're 7'3", it works on anybody that's 7 foot and below. So 3 inches of height is where you're going to see a really big increase in terms of the contest being dropped and stuff like that. And again, this is going to help you just be able to dunk on people better and stuff like that too if they're smaller than you. It just acts like they're not even there, honestly. And it really is. That's just the truth. Mouse in the House really just acts like people who are smaller than you aren't even there. They really don't have a good chance at blocking you unless they go for a really well-timed jump. And again, that's where the pump faking comes into play and the fast twitch and stuff like that. And again, I can't stress this enough. This is the last time I'm going to mention it because all 3 of these finishing badges are related to actual slashing. So last time I'm going to mention this. The bigs mashing in the paint are ridiculously OP, and I don't understand why more people aren't aware of this or just like awake to the fact that they could be making bigs and dominating in the paint and having a lot of fun while doing so. I'm not going to lie. So for Slithery Finisher, this badge is going to stay in the A tier where it originally was, and I don't see a lot of difference in this badge. Of like, my opinion on it is pretty much the same. It's a glue badge. It's going to help you like dunk. It's going to help you do all types of stuff when it comes to that. I will say it's pretty much like a strictly slasher badge. Obviously, this relates in no part to post scores or anything like that, and you can't even get the badge unless you're, I think, under 6'10", I believe. I might be wrong with that, but long story short, it's good for allowing you to like glide through certain animations and stuff like that. Allows you to get more contact dunks, especially with that dunk meter too. I'm not gonna lie, like that holding down on the right stick stuff, it's really relevant for this Slithery Finisher, getting you a dunk on all of those. And then if you can get the dunk at the very least, then it comes down to your skill of being able to time the dunk meter. And if you can just keep on, I'm gonna be completely honest with you, I rarely ever don't get that meter to pop up. Like, rarely do I just get taken out of it completely and just swatted. Granted, I maybe get into good position for going for those dunks more than the average person would, but realistically, I credit that a lot to Slithery Finisher for being able to actually get you into those dunk animations. Next up, we have Posterizer. What more needs to be said about this badge? S tier all day. It's just the best finishing badge in the game, and it'll always be that way. The fact that they don't make this cost like 10 finishing badge points is just ridiculous. That's what they should be doing to make this actually somewhat balanced, because understandably, it's going to be able to get you really good contact dunks. Me having Hall of Fame Posterizer with 99 driving dunk is really good. I don't know why more people aren't aware of this, but I guess it's because everybody just wants to be able to shoot the ball all of a sudden. But anyway, long story short, it's really good for the driving dunks. The meter size is huge when you have this on Hall of Fame, and to be able to have it at least on gold is going to be really needed in terms of being able to actually like dunk the ball. And then in contact dunks, that is. And I did mention that we were going to be done talking about the paint mashing, but honestly, Posterizer still helps that as well. So if you're going for the like pump fakes and stuff like that, and someone jumps, it's going to help you still finish in traffic with the dunks. Obviously, it still helps with the big man contact dunks of the standing ones, and realistically, this is just the best badge in the game in terms of finishing. Obviously, it's not the best badge overall because there's still the shooting, playmaking, and defense categories, but still, Posterizer, by far the best finishing badge in the game. And now for our final badge, we have one dropping from the S tier to the B tier. I have Limitless Takeoff. Now, this is still a very good badge, don't get me wrong. I think mostly everything in the B tier is still a pretty good badge and is reasonable to run. I think your C tier is where you start to see the ones that are reasonable not to run, but if it fits your playstyle. And then anything like D tier or below probably just don't even run at all. But anyway, for Limitless Takeoff, the reason I have this dropping, I feel like it's not as relevant of a badge that I thought it was. I feel like the only thing it does is unlock like dunks. I mean, it's very obvious, right? It only unlocks dunks from further range. And how good is that really? The more I think about it, it's not really an S tier badge, to be completely honest with you. But as mentioned, what it's going to be good for is maybe if you have the Michael Jordan dunk package or quick drops like we were talking about in our best dunk packages video from a couple days ago, is it's going to give you those 2 animations that are really far away. So for instance, the Jordan dunk from the free throw line, which is really fire, but again, I don't know how important that is when even just the close quick drops are good enough anyway. So it looks stylish, it looks flashy, it's really cool to do, but I don't think Limitless Takeoff is a huge deal, and it's not like a huge game changer to be completely honest with you like I thought it was. So realistically, it's still a good badge. Look, don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to completely like trash on this badge and call it complete garbage, but it's still good. It's not as good as I thought it was originally though. So anyway, soft video, hope y'all enjoyed. If you did, for to drop a like, sub if you're new, turn on them noties, all that good stuff. Like always, try to 1,000 likes. If you made it to the end of the video, put slash in the comments to show your support to me all the way through, or put post if you're a post scorer rather than a slasher. And again, that's what this badge tier list is going to be relating to the most, is slashers and post scorers. But I do still take the guards into account a little bit in this. But with how few guards actually have driving dunk rating on their build, I really kind of tend to take them out of the consideration with this tier list, especially because on top of that too, you could just just be someone who has 65 driving dunk and like 5 finishing badges. You don't need any finishing badges to enhance your play. People have to respect your 3. Once again, you're just getting past them, and you maybe like limitless takeoff is a good badge for you, but realistically, you're just gonna have quick drops off 1, 65 driving dunk rating, and just dunk that thing every single time wide open. It is what it is. So anyway, soft video. Like I said, feel free to leave your feedback in the comments if you guys want. Let me know what you think if I messed up any of these badges. I see a lot of people talking about dreamshake, and me personally, I just don't see the utility in it. But if you have a difference in opinion on a lot of these badges, feel free to let me know in the comments. And other than that, like I said, hope y'all enjoyed. Other than that, take it easy, man. Peace.